What up, Cage Satters? It's your boy Sean coming at you like a house fire. What's going on? It's been a couple of weeks. I got up and cracked ass back at dawn on the 4th of July. Puck Beast in the East, and that was spiffy fun. If you follow me on Twitter at S1Rude, I was bottle feeding a kitten. We actually was going to do this with him. This is why I look back. I might bottle feed a foster kitten. I was going to do this show with him, but he's too noisy. So just have to look at him there. See? There you go. Alternating names right now are Norman, as in Smiley, because he does wiggle, 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 and Padre Payne for Game of Thrones. Oh, what are we talking about today? What I wanted to talk about, I've been thinking about this for a little while, and this week's Raw, drilled it into my noggin, is, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I actually think the WWE, however many W's they need before the E, I think that they should consider bi-weekly pay-per-views / WWE Network events. They did this. This ended up going down for May and June when they added Elimination Chamber into what was already kind of a schedule. It made my job kind of a pain in the ass, but you don't care about that. So, I mean, it was a lot of content. I think in an increasingly crowded marketplace, that might not be the worst thing for them. If you have to devote more time to keeping up with WWE, that gives you less time to catch up with Ring of Honor, TNA, Lucha Underground, New Japan, etc., etc. There's only so many hours in the day. So that's one. That's sort of a business angle. From a creative standpoint, I just thought everything had a much better flow to it when we were doing every 2 weeks. There's been a couple of good fan posts that I'll link to. Again, a lot of this is, beating dead horses, but WWE doesn't like to really make a commitment one way or the other than Cena wins LOL, which, his current work rate and a little bit of the storytelling is dampening our visceral reaction to that meme, but it doesn't change it. I mean, we still haven't seen him lose a whole lot, which, I don't know. I mean, when he's putting on 30-minute matches with fresh talent, that's exciting anyway, but I'm heading into Battleground and SummerSlam a little leery about what they're going to, is Kevin Owens going to get the same treatment that Rusev and Wyatt got, which is win one and lose the rest? I kind of think maybe that's what's going to happen. We'll see. That's really not my point here, though. We'll worry about that when we get to it. But WWE doesn't like to commit to really, even with Cena, I think they couch a lot. They have interference, countouts, run-ins, yada, yada, yada. So they don't like to commit to an endpoint and drive the storyline to that endpoint, whether or not that means guys win or lose, or girls win or lose, or whatever. And that by virtue of that makes it seem like these losses, like the Kevin Owens losses that I'm worried are going to happen at the next two pay-per-views, makes them seem a lot worse because, in general, nobody ever loses. If everybody lost all the time, we've talked about this before, too. That's why, sometimes I have a hard time doing these things because I feel like I've said everything I have to say about wrestling. That's some existential wrestling blogger problems for you. Anyway, but yeah, so they like to stall. They like to stall, and having a month or more between pay-per-view events just makes the shows in between where they're doing that stalling really hard to watch a lot of times. I think we were into that pattern before the Beast in the East special last Saturday. This is the latest. I was thinking about this when they were hammering they were hitting pay-per-views one after another, whatever it was, when they added Elimination Chamber and whatever was before that. Was that Payback or Extreme Rules? Payback, Extreme Rules, Elimination Chamber, Money in the Bank. Boom, boom, boom. Those happened like in 5 weeks, it felt like. That's not true at all, but that's what it felt like. And that forced them to advance feuds in a way that they don't when they have an hour, a week, a month in between shows. Beast in the East, all of a sudden, a little bit with the Lesnar-Rollins program because it gave us some time off it allowed them to do the Brock beatdown thing by the Authority where he got that numbers game caught up to him. And then he could go to Japan and wreak havoc on New Day and come back, and we all forgot about it, especially once he started took an axe to a Cadillac. So it allowed them to sort of reset that program a little bit. I don't know how successfully, but I think it was a good effort. You know, Brock actually went down, which a lot of people hated, but I mean, I think we've covered that on one of these. I know I've written about it. Should have been different guys beating him down, but I don't have a problem with the beatdown per se. So let them reset those. The one that really reset, I felt, in an interesting way, and I'm probably going to contradict myself because I just talked about how Owens shouldn't lose a lot, and I'm going to praise them for how they worked some Owens losses into the story, is that the Cena-Owens thing felt different because a major story beat had occurred in Japan. So he went over there and lost his title, and he comes back, and now he is even more driven to go after the United States title because he is not currently a champion himself. To me, you know, that plus Cesaro, which we'll see. I don't know what Cesaro's role is in this program or what's next for him. I hope that they strike while the iron is hot and they do something with him. But it refreshed that United States Championship feud. Whereas if that hadn't happened and we just had 3 more weeks of the same promos, I mean, even before Beast in the East and before he lost to Finn Balor on NXT, prior to that, on a pre-taped episode, a lot of people were complaining that the Cena-Owens promos had already gotten stale, that they were just saying the same stuff over and over again. And I feel like what happened to Beast in the East immediately sort of gave them something new to talk about. So, should WWE need to have weekend pay-per-view specials in order to make that happen? No, but they seem to. I mean, that's, you know, change to their model is going to come incrementally, if at all. And the way that the change might occur at first would be to force them to write to event shows every 2 or 3 weeks instead of every 4 or 5 weeks, and speed up things. And, you know, maybe that's the stepping stone that gets us to eventually where a loss isn't the end of the world, because these guys are like the NBA of wrestlers, and people lose. The greatest in the world loses sometimes, and nobody thinks, well, some people think he's not the greatest in the world, but I don't know. I'm just salty about the NBA. If I root for anybody, it's the Dallas Mavericks, and fuck DeAndre Jordan. So there you go. Anyway, wow, that got weird. Sleep deprivation. Anyway, so that's my point. That's my plea. WWE, consider using your network to give us different. I mean, even if it's the Beast in the East model, and you just gussy up a house show every couple of weeks in between pay-per-views, I think it really forces you guys to do more impactful storytelling instead of just tap dancing around things. So you probably won't listen to me, and I will probably just have to deal with it.